Hey everyone, it's September 27th, and that means that if today's your birthday, you share with Lawrence Bittaker, one of the serial killing pair known as the Toolbox killers, who murdered 5 teenage girls in Southern California in 1979. And that is him right over there. Bittaker was born to a couple that never wanted kids in Pittsburgh in 1940 and was given over to an orphanage at birth, being adopted as an infant. His adoptive father worked in the aerospace industry and had to move the family frequently, and as such, Bittaker had few friends since they would pick up and move every couple of years. He acted out by shoplifting, first being caught when he was 12, picking up a juvenile record over the next 4 years with multiple arrests for theft. Considered a very smart child, he found school boring and dropped out in 1957 before he could graduate, after which he was arrested for car theft and ended up incarcerated by the California Youth Authority until he turned 18. When released, he discovered that his adoptive family had left for another state and had disowned him, so he was on his own. He never saw them again. Just a few days after his release, he was arrested in Oklahoma for transporting a stolen vehicle across state lines and was locked up until 1960. That year, he ended up in prison for a robbery in Los Angeles, this time being sentenced to 15 years behind bars. Despite psychiatrists diagnosing him as a borderline psychopath, Bittaker was released on parole after just 2 years, but soon violated the terms and was back inside. He ended up getting released a few more times over the next few years, but always ended up back where he started. After being released on parole in 1974, he escalated his crimes to attempted murder when he stabbed a supermarket employee in the parking lot when the man asked if he had forgotten to pay for a steak he had stolen. In 1977, Bittaker met Ray Norris in prison. Norris had a long history of sex crimes that had seen him locked up multiple times over the past decade. They would hang out and discuss their fantasies about abducting, raping, and killing teenage girls, with a plan to kill one of every age from 13 to 19 when they got out. Bittaker was released in October of 1978, with Norris following 3 months later, and they followed through on their plans. They purchased a windowless van they nicknamed Murder Mac, and picked up 20 female hitchhikers over the next few months to practice their technique. These women and girls were all let go unharmed, but they used this experience to carefully plan exactly how to get their victims and where to take them. In June of 1979, they killed for the first time, picking up a 16-year-old girl near the beach, turning the radio up to drown out her screams before she was gagged. They took turns sexually assaulting her before they both choked her, ultimately using a wire coat hanger to finish off the act of murder. Her body was dumped over the edge of a canyon and left for nature to take its course. A second victim followed 2 weeks later, with their sadism ramping up with each successive victim. They next killed 13 and 15-year-old girls they picked up together, and in October picked up a 16-year-old who recognized Bittaker as a customer from a restaurant where she worked. They tortured and killed this victim, recording it on audio tape, before disposing of her body as they had done previously. Norris got in touch with another prison buddy to whom he confided about the activities in which he and Bittaker had been engaged. That man turned them in, and after confirmation of his story, they were picked up. Norris ultimately confessed and was sentenced to life in prison, while Bittaker was tried in January of 1981, with Norris testifying. Bittaker also testified and claimed that Norris had acted alone in the murders, but no one believed that, and he was convicted and sentenced to death. Numerous appeals followed, and he ended up spending the next 38 years on death row before dying of natural causes in December of 2019. Norris died in February of 2020, and the audio tape he and Bittaker made of their torture is still used to train and desensitize FBI agents. If this is your birthday, I hope you have a great day. Leave me a comment so I can wish you a happy birthday. If you know someone whose birthday it is today, send them this video so you can find out all about their birthday twin. And to Lawrence Bittaker, I say, happy birthday, you bastard. And that's serial killer William Bonin, who you can find out more about in my video from January 8th.